Welcome everyone, bienvenidos. Hi, I am Terry from My Terrific Life, and welcome to Salsa Saturday. You'll probably hear a little bit of my salsa music in the background, and I just want to make this quick statement. I don't know how effective that is, but yeah, I do not own the rights to this music. But oh my gosh, no one should own the rights to the music except for the actual artist. But man, I'm so glad these artists have shared this music with us. Anyone, again, anyway, sorry, my coffee ain't kicked in yet. Welcome everyone. Tell us where you're from in the chat. Please tell us where you're from in the chat. And I've got it on my playlist, my salsa playlist right now. So when I say that brings me joy, listen to it. Can you hear it? I don't want it to overwhelm the conversation, but listen just for a second. Cha cha cha. This is a salsa that just transitioned into a cha cha. And I can't help it, y'all. When I hear music, I've gotten better at it, but I usually describe what dance goes with it. You will see a lot of things in the chat today where I pulled up some information, stuff that I don't know how to do to present about salsa. But if you're really curious about this genre of music, it gives brief histories, it gives iconic artists, and we'll talk about them in just a minute. But I thought I'd add that all in the chat today so that if you wanted to do research, because a lot of people have told me that's joined my lives that they wanted to know more information and where could they find it. So I am sharing it in the chat. Okay. But again, I don't own the rights to this music. And you can kind of hear it in the background. So hopefully I don't get dinged by YouTube or anything, because I don't know all my stuff yet about the YouTube life. So anyway, tell us where you're from. Put your name down in the chat. And I would love to start a discussion with you about one of my passions. When I say this genre of music, it speaks to my soul. I think salsa music and gospel music are the two genres of music that when I say it's so intrinsic in my being, it's just wow. Like wow. I can't explain it in any other words but wow. Okay. So just like last week, I gave a brief discussion of what salsa was. And I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. Let it lightly play in the background while we're doing our discussion. So last week we talked about the origins of salsa. Got my little notes over here I'm looking at. And we know that it's an Afro-Cuban root. What a lot of people in this community have a disagreement about is who did salsa first. And really, if you look at the history, which I put that in the chat, history of salsa, we got to give Cuba its props. It was the combination of African rhythms and styles on the Caribbean island with the indigenous people and a mixture of the Spaniards. It was, and that's why they call it salsa, because it's a mixture. Just like when you eat salsa, it's a mixture of peppers and onions and cilantro and all those type of things. That's what this dance genre is about. So I just got a question. I'm gonna put this up again briefly in case you hear the music in the background. But I do have a question for you guys. How would you describe salsa music? And are you familiar with salsa music? Hey, Catrice, how you doing, girl? How you doing? Happy Salsa Saturday. I know, right? When I say I got excited this morning about telling y'all about salsa, and when I was looking at some of the things that I put in the chat for you guys to look up, I did it again, y'all. I'm being very transparent. When I say this music touches my soul, I found myself tearing up because certain songs just they make me so happy. They make my soul happy. One of the videos I think I put in the chat is Celia Cruz's what's the name of it? It's Carnival. That's what I call it in short. It's Carnival. And it's talking about when they celebrate Carnival. Or here we call it what is it that they do down in New Orleans? Mardi Gras. So that's an extension of Carnival. Carnival is celebrated all across the world, and we call it Mardi Gras. So yeah, that song, it just brings back happy memories of different dance partners I danced with, different events I've been to, and just the fact that she's one of the classics. She's the queen, y'all, of this salsa music genre. Look her up when you get a chance. I think one of them talks about her. And then I found a video with she and Tito Puentes. What I bet some of y'all don't know, if you are former Prince lovers, yeah. His drummer, Sheila E. Y'all remember Sheila E? Granddaughter to Tito Puentes. That's what I'm saying, y'all. All this music intertwines my whole life. Because, I mean, who's not a Prince lover, right? And having a female percussionist like that, and then to know what her history is, that she's the granddaughter of Tito Puentes. That part. That part. So yeah, this all, like I said, my whole life just intertwines and intersects, and dendrites grow, and my brain is constantly moving, my body's constantly moving. It's all that. But let me tell you a little side story real quick, of what happened to me last night. So last night I went to a dance. It was supposed to be for line dancing. And some of you all know that's not my favorite genre. But I mean, I can do some of it. It just, I guess for me, after you learn salsa and other forms of partner dancing, just to dance by yourself, which is fine. I mean, I danced by myself. I was dancing a few minutes ago by myself in the house. But it's something about that connection with a partner and communicating through the pressure points of your body, mostly in your hands and your upper body, and not knowing what to expect. I think that's some of the excitement of partner dancing. So line dancing, after a while, I know what I'm going to do. And I'm like, okay, I've done what I'm going to do and I'm done. So I get bored. I really get bored easily in line dancing. And I always make that disclaimer when people are, oh, let's go line dancing. Let's go line dancing. Yeah. Anyway, what happened last night, this gentleman asked me to dance. This is a song that it wasn't a line dance type song. And he did have a little bit of style as far as the Chicago style dance stepping. I could tell he knew some of the steps, but what he didn't have is how to lead correctly. Yeah, he was slightly intoxicated. And I'm sorry, okay, so on the things that I love, you will learn quickly. I am, for lack of a better word, rude. And so if someone comes to me, stepping to me the wrong way, no pun intended. So I had danced with them once and I tried to figure it out. Like, I'm a good follow, y'all. I'm going to admit it. I am a good follow. If you give me a good lead, if you give me some basics, I can follow you. He wasn't a good lead and he couldn't give me basics. He was too busy trying to show off the few steps he knew. So I'm like, I could identify he was doing Chicago stepping. So I did my basic Chicago step because I can do a little stepping, not a lot. And yeah, I don't know what he was doing. But the second time, I went on and danced with him one more time. This second time, oh, when I say it unnerved me, yeah. So number one, he came to ask me dance and didn't really ask. He just kind of took my hand and we went on the floor and I'm like, oh, here we go. Number two, he had a beer bottle in his other hand and trying to dance with me with one. I'm like, I said, look, I stopped him. And I've told all of my students, you can do this because females have a problem with, I don't want to be rude. I don't want be rude. It's your dance experience too. Okay. So I stopped him. I said, look, it's either me or the beer. If you want to dance with me, the beer bottle goes down. And he was like, but, okay. He put the bottle down. And then he went and he grabbed my hand, and it's still just a little sore because he grabbed it really rough. And I'm like, maybe that one was a fluke. But when he did it again, I said, whoa, stop. And by this time, I think the whole room was looking. I didn't care. I said, stop. You're holding my hand too tight. I said, I'm just going to give you a little history about me. I know what partner dancing looks like and should feel like. You were being too rough on my hands, and it hurts. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm a little heavy handed. And then I finally said, you know what? Just let go. So I do this motion when I want my partner to let go of my hands because it makes them free because they don't know, they're not expecting it. And I started doing a cha-cha just around him. I'm like, it was like doing a dance off, like, what? I said, we're just going to freestyle and I'm getting to cha-cha around you. And I just cha-cha and I kept going around him where he was like, what? Oh, yeah, well, yeah. Ooh, yeah, I can see that you know how to really dance. I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought. So when the music went off, I left. I was like, boy, bye. And strolled on off the dance floor and didn't have to worry about him asking me to dance again. I would have told him no anyway, because you can say no after experiences like that. But yeah, that. Yeah. So if future people who want to learn how to dance, that's some etiquette. Right? One, you don't come on the dance floor with no drink. If you're gonna drink, drink. If you're gonna dance, dance. And you definitely don't ask a young lady to dance and you got your bottling. Hey, no, what? No, that's just rude. So if you're gonna be rude to me and step rude to me, I'm gonna step back rude to you. Okay, sorry. I got off on a tangent. Got off on a tangent. So my question to you all is how salsa music? And let me look in the chat. I see Catrice here and she is saying, hi, Terry and everyone. So good morning, Catrice. Yes, and I remember your suggestion. I did that already. Sorry, I don't know why the internet is glitchy, but it seems to like to glitch when I'm on. Um, see if it'll show here. Whoops. Here we go. I would describe it as vibrant. Good word. I love how the lead dancer's body moves and the other dance just automatically follows. Yes, a good lead makes a dance look easy. But I'm going to tell you, it takes a long time for a follow to learn to follow. It takes a long time for a lead to learn to lead. We always say when we're teaching salsa, and we try to, because leads get so discouraged. Now, I can do a little bit of both. Okay. Well, I can do a lot of follow, but I can also lead. My library of moves is not large as far as leading. Now, follow, I can follow anything. For the most part, I can follow anything. There's certain moves I just refuse to do. There's one where you slide and do it like a semi split. I ain't doing that one. But my lead, library is not huge, but I try to make it interesting. And that's the part that the lead has to do. Just make it interesting. You have to communicate. And just a little salsa 101. Our communication is right here. If you're wondering, how did that follow know what to do? It's right here. It's right here, and it's right here. And by the way, I think I got a t-shirt for everything that I like. This one says dance life. Dance life, because I'm about that dance life. But yeah, that's our communication. It is pressure. It's pressure. And if you're a good follow, you know when to give a pressure, when your lead is giving you pressure, and you're talking through that. We had a guy one time that was visiting Nashville, and he was only there a few weeks. But when I say we scoped him out, the first time we saw, I don't know if I've told this story. So some of my salsa lady friends, we used to go to this place called Ibiza, and no longer exists, but that was every Thursday night until midnight. So we had a system. We would always scope out someone. If we saw a good lead, we'd make eye contact to each other. And then we'd say who would go in first to try them out. And then if they were a good lead, we come off the floor, like we strike a match and blow out our cigarette. That meant, yeah, go next, because he was worth it. But this guy we call Butterfingers, and not because he was sloppy. It was because he was smooth like butter. Okay, like I said, there's pressure points in your hands. He could do it just with these two fingers. Oh my gosh, incredible lead. Because when you lead in salsa, you have to be clear and precise. There are a couple of moves that when you lead it, if you don't do it just right, you confuse your follower. So when I say he could maneuver those two fingers, because your hand is constantly moving in salsa like that. It's constantly doing that. It's constantly doing that. I mean, it's more than your feet moving, and more than your hips moving, and more than it is truly your whole body moving when you're dancing salsa. Really, when you're almost dancing any dance, some form of your body is moving it, more than just your feet. So he would lead, and we would go every time. And we would fight almost over who was going to dance with him next. I don't remember his name, but I just remember we called him Butter because he was that smooth. I wasn't even carnivore then, and I knew the importance of butter. How about that? How about that? So back to my little outline here. So I tried to do a little outline, and I really want to talk more about the music of salsa. That's why I asked the question. Um, when you think of salsa music, how would you describe it? Catrice, you described it perfectly. It is vibrant. Although all salsa may not be fast, there's again, everything has a genre within a genre and a subgenre of a genre, right? So some of my favorite salsa music is called salsa romantica. And it is the classic salsa from the iconic salsa artist. And I'm going to put some of their names in the on the screen in just a minute. If you would look them up and just listen, you will see kind of a pattern that they have. They're talking about love. You'll hear a lot about mi corazón, or mi cuerpo, my body, my heart, mi cabeza, my head. Yeah, and I learned a lot of Spanish listening to salsa, and it's spoken just slow enough so you can understand it, especially if you are trying to develop another language like Spanish. But these artists are so iconic, so classic. Like when I hear their music, literally I get emotional. I'm going to put some of their names up right here. Some of the artists, of course, I'm going to always, 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 always give my props to Celia Cruz. Then Tito Puentes. We've already talked about them, but Oscar de Leon, Andy Montanez, Mark Anthony. That's somebody that most people that don't even dance salsa are familiar with. Everybody knows Mark Anthony, right? Jimmy Bosch, Frankie Ruiz. I think that was, yeah, Frankie's son. I met his son. He visited Nashville and he did a live performance in honor of his dad. And I got a picture with them. There's like, I get excited with my Latin artists just as much, if not more, than my American artists. Yeah. Because usually Latin concerts are, whew, they're the bomb.com because you can get up and dance. And you got people that know what they're doing around you. And you're not just, sorry. Got off on a tangent again. Can you see how passionate I am about dance? We have Victor Manuel, Lalo Rodriguez, Luis Enrique, India. This woman, don't let her name fool you. Her name is India. Oh my goodness. And she and Mark Anthony have a song. That's how I first discovered her. One of my favorite salsas. Gilberto, Santa Rosa. All of these are more my salsa romantica people or genre. And now Mark Anthony goes both, where he does a lot of things that's just fun. And then he has, of course, the Mi Corazon, my heart. He talks about all his heart and his love and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that's the genre I love the most. Of course, I have other salsa genres I love. And with each one, you dance a different way. Last week, we talked about you can do New York style salsa, which is called on two. You're just picking up a rhythm in the song different than the basic one down on the one. You have LA style salsa, which is slotted, and that is more of the quote unquote traditional salsa that Americans learn to do first. That is I call that basic salsa, and I have a video in the chat that can describe it a little bit better. Then you have casino, which is pure Cuban salsa. It's not slotted, it's rounded. You and your partner are constantly doing this and exchanging pressure points. My crack. And then you have other forms. You have cumbia from Mexico, which is a back step, and it is rounded. It's very similar to casino, but the music genre style that you hear is different. It's cumbia is more from bullfighting, so a lot of their moves is flowing like they're doing the little cape that they use, and they do a lot of that in their movement. So your turns, instead of going up like this for a lead and they turn you, in cumbia it's more of a swirl up and they turn you, and you use a lot of pressure points like your elbows and your hips, and so much fun, y'all. That's why it doesn't bore me. That's why I love salsa. So many people don't realize that salsa has so many facets to it. And just like me, I've got a lot of facets to me, right? I always say I'm a diamond in the rough, but now I'm really a polished diamond with a lot of facets. I'm shining brightly now. But that's what salsa is to me. So different styles, different people that can lead it. It is, like I said, strike a match, smoke a cigarette. For me, be smoke a cigar, right? That awesome. So let me talk about the dance community. A lot of people didn't, and I didn't realize that there's such a huge dance community around the world. It's global for salsa. Ooh, I'm listening to a song that I like dancing to right now. And when I hear a song that's familiar, even if I'm in the grocery store, because I'm seeing a lot of Latin music is being more acculturated into our society. In certain cities that you go to, you hear it a little bit more just as a norm. And you'll see me doing some moves in the grocery store. Hey, and this is one of the songs I like. But anyway, I digress. Where was I? Salsa around the world. So salsa is danced around the world. When I say there's a big population of salsa communities, you would never know they exist. So, fun fact, people will come up to me, and if I say, "Oh yeah, I like the salsa dance," "Oh really? Where do you dance? Like, is there a studio?" I'm like, "Honey, this is how the community works. We dance everywhere." So our goal is to find interesting places to dance. The biggest thing is we prefer dancing on a wood floor, but of course we'll dance on a concrete floor or a laminate floor. But it just has to be something where we can turn safely and not hurt our bodies too much. But you'll find us dancing in coffee shops if they'll allow us to have an event there. I've danced at several restaurants that allowed us to have salsa dancing events there. I've danced on Navy Pier in Chicago because they allow salsa dancing there. I think it's on Sundays. I'm sure they still have it. Sometimes you're in a dance studio, but that's kind of like blase. I mean, it's fun because usually they have the best floors because they have wooden floors. But that's just not the only place you will find salsa dancing. So, my suggestion to you, wherever you live in the world, just Google salsa and then whatever town you're in. So if you're in Nashville, you can say you can Google salsa around Nashville and you will find a plethora of places to go. Um, I think they still do free salsa dancing up until 8 o'clock. It's free. So you should see people running in by like 7:58 and a half, right? After that, it's $10 at the door. On Thursday nights at Plaza Mariachi. So check out that place if you're in Nashville. Again, Google salsa around Nashville. Nicole runs a phenomenal page of all the different events and instructors that you can go to when you're in that area. When I visited Charlotte a few years ago, I didn't do it the last time I was in Charlotte a couple of months ago, but I Googled dance around Charlotte, found their community. Oh my gosh. I remember this guy. Oh, what was his name? I can't think of it. Phenomenal dancer. Wow. And that's the thing. Once you get to a certain level, and I'm not saying that I'm this fantastic of a dancer, but I'm good. I do know I'm good. You enjoy dancing with people you don't know and seeing if you have a connection there. Uh, I'll Google dance around New York. Found a couple of places in New York to dance when I went. I'll anywhere I go. I think I told y'all one of the days this week. I travel. If I'm in my car, especially, I travel with my dance shoes. I travel with my cigars, and yeah, and I travel with my meat sticks. So I'm good to go. I'm good to go. But yeah, Google if you want lessons. A lot of times salsa lessons are inexpensive too. That's how I found the community up here. I Googled salsa around Knoxville because that's our biggest city. And I was driving home from a trip in Nashville and I saw, oh, they're having an event in 30 minutes. I stopped and danced for 2 hours. So yeah, that's what you do for salsa. One thing about the music, I'll get back on the music right here. Hey, Dennis. Dennis is here. Hi, all late to the party. You're never late to a Latin party, Dennis. Woo! Never, never. Welcome. Welcome. What we're talking about today, Dennis, is salsa and its music. And I had on the screen, and Catrice described it beautifully. But how would you describe salsa music? I find that a lot of people don't understand the difference between like mariachi music, salsa music. I mean, because if you haven't studied it, you don't know the difference. The only connection you hear is that it's in Spanish, right? But salsa music definitely has a vibe. It has certain instrumentations that you use, but no, the one most important instrument, and I'm looking over, I don't think it's in that bag. I was looking for it. I think it's buried in a bunch of stuff in my car, is the clave. Can everyone say clave? Clave. Clave. That's how you can tell salsa music. So sometimes you'll see, like if you ever go to a salsa event, just observe those that you see that seem to know what they're doing. You'll see us like do this. And then you might see us go. That's the clave. Took me 3 years to hear it in a song. So fun fact again, when I started salsa dancing, I was coming from a ballroom background. So the good part about ballroom, it taught me structure, right? And I've always been musical because I played the piano, played a little guitar. Like I said, my dad was big into jazz, so I would listen to music with him. Of course, as a teenager, I was into funk. That's a whole nother conversation. I love that beat. But to be able to communicate the rhythms with your body and the instrumentation of the music, that was a whole new world for me. Did I take ballet? Yes. Did I take tap? Yes, and wasn't that great in it. I wouldn't mind taking tap again, though. I think I would do better. But with salsa, your feet are your instruments. Your feet is your drum beat. Your feet is the rhythm. And you've got to be able to use several body parts when you do salsa. So you're doing a visual because you need to make eye contact sometimes with your partner. You're using your hands as pressure points to communicate with them. You can't go, okay, I want to turn you now. Okay, I want you to do this now. Okay. I did have a partner that tried to do that one time. It was hilarious. And I'm like, I don't think that's what we're supposed to be doing. But anyway, but you've got to be able to hear which rhythm you're dancing to. And I would be so mechanic because all I knew was the 1, 2, 3. This is the count of salsa, by the way. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. It is an 8 count beat per measure, but we pause on the 4 and we pause on the 8. There's a reason. Okay, so I would just dance to that 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. And folks, the advanced people would say, start listening for your clave. Start listening for your clave. And I'm like, I don't hear the clave. What I did hear, especially in salsa romantica, is the cowbell. Yeah, I know there's a lot of jokes about the cowbell out there, but the cowbell is very prevalent in a lot of the romantica songs. So I would listen and dance to the downbeat of bing, 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 bing. Y'all, I went to a workshop. In fact, I was on a salsa cruise, and that's where I first met, what was his name? I can't think of it, but he was like a prominent figure in the salsa world, and he did the workshop. He's like, folks, I'm gonna need y'all to start dancing to the clave. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't even hear the clave. When he finished in that workshop, I can't unhear the clave. And most beginners cannot. And I have to stop and remember, and I teach them. What I wanted to bring and show you that is buried in my car, because again, I travel with my clave too. They're wooden sticks and I think they're hollowed out in the middle, but they make the sound of bing, 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 bing in a salsa song. So that's one thing when you start hearing Latin music, if it's not making the clave, it is not a salsa. It is some other form of Latin music. So there's your little tidbit right there, okay? But once you start dancing to the clave, all the heavens open up. And you can play around with that clave, as we say it, and dance off of it, against it, on it, and it's just wow. So picture this, being at an international salsa concert in Puerto Rico. Again, my heartbeat, mi corazón, and everyone there. It's like it's audience participation. It's audience participation. Some people have their claves going. And by the way, my claves were gifted from a wonderful couple out of Atlanta. Atlanta has a huge salsa community that we interact with them in Nashville a lot, and with Cincinnati and Louisville. We say Louisville, not Louisville, Louisville, Kentucky. Those communities, because they're in the same areas, kind of, like a few hours away, they interconnect and have different events. Up here where I am, we do a lot of things with Asheville, North Carolina. So much fun. But anyway, imagine people playing their clave. Some people are playing their little drums, and I don't know why I can't think of them right now. But everybody has a little instrument. Some people have their cowbell going, and that is part of the interactiveness of a salsa concert, the salsa community. Like, you don't sit down at a salsa concert. Live salsa music, you don't sit down. You bring a towel. If you're a guy, you bring an extra change of shirt. If you're a lady, you bring shoes you can dance and turn in, but you don't sit down. If you're sitting at a Latin concert and they're playing salsa and live, if you're sitting like that, then something's wrong with you. You're dead. Sorry, you just are. Because you're expected to get up and dance. You're expected to get up and move. You're expected to sing along. And again, it's helped me a lot on my Spanish. I might only know the chorus of a song, but I will be singing to the top of my lungs that song. So yeah, that's how emotional I get with salsa music, and I double dog dare people to talk about it. Okay. Let's see what else I have for you. The role of salsa in cultural identity. So what I've discovered traveling and doing salsa, like, it's almost like being a YouTuber. After a while, like my friends that are YouTubers, I think it was Chris Cooking Nashville, he said, "Hey, you are now a YouTuber." And I was like, "I am." Well, guess what? Yeah, I am. For salsa, it's part of an identity too. I am a salsa dancer. And especially if you grew up listening to it and you have certain family styles and that's it. You can identify people by their styles. I think I told y'all last week, I have a friend, Pam, who her style, because she um, danced so much in the Chicago area, a lady came up to me and said, "Hey, is that Pam?" And I was like, "Yeah." And because she knew her style. So it's just like a fingerprint. It's just like a fingerprint. People identify with dancing like that. It's part of their soul. And I guess that's the other reason why I like Puerto Rico so much. It is so a part of their soul. Like, that's just the norm, right? It's just the norm. So I wanted to do some basic steps with you all, but instead I put one of the basic steps videos in the chat, because I'm not really set up for that yet. I've got to figure out how I can set myself up and actually show you all some dance moves. I would love to, maybe I can get one of my friends to help me do a video, and I just drop a video of us doing a dance lesson. I think that's what I'll have to do. Drop a video of us doing a beginning salsa dance lesson for you to see. But until that time, I put a link in the chat that you can follow two instructors, and I'm not sure where they're from, but they are good and they can show you the basic moves. But if these were your feet, so the follow and the lead, they mirror each other, okay? So if you are a follow, you would step back on your right. If you're a lead, you would step forward on your left. And facing each other, it's hard to do. You would be moving in sync like that, okay? It's funny to teach beginners, and I think that's why I still like teaching beginners. I'm pretty patient with them, but I had to break it down because a lot of folks make salsa complicated. Salsa is, I'm trying to think of a good word. Uh, is simplistically complicated. In other words, just like any dance, it's about weight change. And what else do you do for weight change? You walk. Dancing is just teaching your body to move with the flow of the music, but you're still just walking. But you're walking to the rhythm of what you're hearing, right? That's all dancing is. So for follows, it's right, left, right, left, right, left. That's the 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Right, left, right, left, right, left. For leads, it's left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. So a lot of times I'll just start my beginning students with just walking, but walking to that particular rhythm, because definitely salsa is rhythmic. For some salsas, its rhythm is layered. It's layered three rhythms deep. And what I'm saying is certain instruments are playing a certain pattern simultaneously together. And that's what makes the sound of salsa. So I understand, because for me, it did look complicated. But literally, once I found out all it was weight change from one side to the other constantly and just learned the rhythm of it, that's when it clicked. It's so many experiences that I can share about my journey as a dancer. Like, I know for a fact American females, because we seem to dance more than American males, ain't like that in other countries, y'all. Not the Latin countries I've been to. Those men like to get up and dance. It's so exciting. But anyway, we're used to wanting to lead. We want to take over. You can't do that. You've got to let your lead experience the position that they're in. Now, I tried to stay gender neutral because, like myself, I can lead and I can follow. The other thing you will see in the salsa community, you will see same genders dancing together. If we are lacking in male leads, you will see a lot of females leading, because we know that way we will have a dance with someone. The newest phenomenon, I guess, that started almost 10 years ago, males finally felt comfortable enough to follow. When you learn to lead and follow, then you really start understanding what you're supposed to do in the role that you're in at the time. There are a lot of males that out follow some females. So again, I try to stay gender neutral, because it doesn't matter. It's all about which position you choose to dance in. You can be a lead, You can be a follow. It has nothing to do with your gender. Okay, so I just wanted to make that point. A lot of newbies will look strange, like, oh, why? Ooh, they're dancing. No, honey, it's the norm. It's all about the dance. Another thing that newbies don't understand is, and it's not totally, but it's not a, it's not like a regular party per se when you have a dance event. You are there, yeah, you're there to, and you look cute and you're there to have fun. But don't think that every time someone asks you to dance, they're after you. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. A lot of true dancers are there for just the dance experience. They're not trying to be flirtatious. They're not trying to be about some agenda. They're just there to have fun, just like you are, and to dance. When we would do Ibiza on Thursday nights, we were there for the dance. Like, we would get excited when we see our friends coming. Oh, so and so's here! Yay! Come on, we gotta dance. Hey, so and so's here! Oh, we gotta dance. Leads and follows. Oh, there's so and so. We're gonna dance. Can you find a romantic interest on the dance floor? Yeah, of course you can. Of course you can. Especially if you got that communication just on the dance floor. Anyway, but that's not what dance life is about, and that's a misconception for people who don't dance. I know, especially when I started dancing, so many people thought just really cruel things because I was going out dancing. And in their minds, I guess dancing's dirty. I guess that's where the movie Dirty Dancing came from. I don't know. Dancing's always just been a fun thing. Dancing's always been a part of my family and my culture. And even though we weren't partner dancing per se, we were moving. And I would see my mom and dad do partner dancing because in their time frame, that's what they did. They danced as couples mostly. You had the jitterbug, you had the was the camel walk. You had the cha cha cha, which I love cha cha cha. They had all those things, right? And it was partner dancing, so it was the norm. I don't know when we started thinking dancing was something else. I don't know. But anyway, back to salsa. Um, just a couple of other little things that I wanted to add about salsa. And if you have any questions, just drop it in the chat. Just drop it in the chat. I know that this topic may not interest a lot of people, and I'm hoping to get some of my folks from the dance community to pop on. I would love to do a live Q&A with other people and their experiences, because when I say knowing how to dance salsa and being a part of a really cool salsa community changed my life. It's given me the opportunity to be on TV. It's given me an opportunity to travel. It's given me the opportunity to meet some really cool people, some famous people. It's given me the opportunity just to have opportunity and to dance in interesting places. In fact, when I started salsa dancing, the description on the meetup page was, "Are you willing to dance in a parking lot?" I'm like, yeah. If you teach me how to dance, I'll dance in the parking lot. And y'all, I have. I've actually taught in a parking lot because something was wrong with the studio that I was teaching in, and we took it out to the parking lot and started dancing. We've danced in, like I said, cafes. We've danced anywhere we could dance. We've danced in the street. When we were in Cuba, we just started dancing in the street. We heard the music, we started moving. And like I said, people were like, oh, and they're Americana. They couldn't believe that. So, yeah, dancing is life. It's a give and take, it's a partnership. It's just amazing to me. So, Salsa events. Don't let salsa, if you're really truly interested in dancing salsa, go to a salsa event. I learned just as much going to an event as I did going to take lessons. Sometimes you've got to give yourself mental permission what is allowed. Again, I had a friend who dances beautifully, and he was dancing with me. He could tell how rigid I was at first. And he was like, "Do you freestyle dance at all?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Then do it now. That's all you're doing. Enjoy what you're hearing. You're not rigid to 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. That's not the purpose of dancing salsa. It's to get your whole body in. And for those who don't know, you don't just come up and just start shimmying. That's not salsa, ladies. Not salsa. People will come up to me and go, "Hey, salsa!" And I'm like, "No." And they go, "No, that's not it." I'm like, "No, that's not it." But I'm willing to show you that. I am willing to show you that. Let's go back in the chat real quick. Oh, Catrice says, "What? Really? Fun fact, Dirty Dancing was filmed about 1 hour from where I live." What? That's cool. Kinda. Because that mindset of dirty dancing, it's not dirty all except up here. To move your body, God gave us our bodies to move. He didn't give it to for us just to sit. It's about movement. In fact, a lot of the Afrocentric or Cuban style salsas originated from religious practices. It was a celebration, and certain songs that again, I get excited. Certain songs I hear, it makes me want to praise God because I can move my body. So there's nothing dirty about that. Nothing at all. So, but yeah, thanks, Catrice, for sharing that. It kind of makes sense why they called it dirty dancing in that area, because I just know kind of the mindset. But yeah, anyway. Um, that's pretty much it that I have for you for salsa this week. Next week, for Saturday, I'm going to switch over to cigars. And I'm going to do my best to be able to film it from the cigar shop that I frequent here in East Tennessee, right? I will show you some of the etiquette. I'll actually smoke a cigar for you guys from the beginning to, throughout the chat, and we can talk about it. So if you have questions about cigars for next Saturday, um, get them ready. Get them ready. And if you know me personally, send them to me, and that way I can make sure I hit that question for you. If not, I probably know the answer to it anyway, right? So, yeah, my salsa and cigar Saturday. What fun fact? Fun fact. I can dance salsa and then smoke a cigar. But it's hard for me to smoke a cigar then dance salsa. And that's because sometimes cigars take some of that lung capacity from you, even though you're not inhaling it like you would a cigarette. But it does kind of change things for you as far as your oxidation for dancing, especially if you plan on really dancing hard and long, right? So yeah. Catrice says it is on top of a mountain and is beautiful there. I bet it is. The lake and the area is just beautiful. This part of the country is just gorgeous. The mountains here are beautiful, simply beautiful. And maybe I don't think I've danced on a mountain yet. I've danced on a rooftop. Does that count? Because I always try to find interesting places to do salsa dancing. But yeah, you can see I'm really passionate about salsa. I know everyone doesn't get it, but that's okay. That's why I find communities where people understand what I like. So understanding my salsa community, them understanding me, them when I go back to, like I said, I dance in Knoxville, actually teach in Knoxville as well. But when I go back to Nashville, it's special because they're like, she's back. The coolest part and the most complimentary part is most of the instructors that are there now came through my class and Pam's class because we were known as the beginning salsa instructors. Such an honor to be able to say that, you're my former student, and they actually acknowledge that, like, oh no, we came to your class first, that's what gave us our passion. That is such an honor to be able to go back and have those experiences and talk about the past and all the fun we had, with the students and how they learn, and they attribute their beginnings, their businesses, because a lot of them have made big businesses from them, from dancing, and they attribute it to you, starting with your class. So yeah, I'm very humbled at that, and I love it. I love it. I love it. So anyway, y'all, my little Aurora has her first birthday party today. I've got family coming up. We're going to have a good time. I wish my family danced salsa with me. They dance, they move. And like my youngest, he dances, and because he's in theater, he has to dance and stuff, but mostly freestyle. But you know what? They do know the basic moves to dance almost anything because they had to take cotillion. My boys had to take cotillion. So they know how to partner dance. I had to make sure they did that. But anyway, again, I'm signing off with my salsa. Here's another song. I don't know if you can hear it. Yes, thank you. Happy first birthday. Oh, yeah, we've got her chicken salad, so she should be happy. She should be real happy today. Let me go back to this real quick. I do not own the rights to this music, but doesn't it sound good? This is Salsa Romantica. And my usual, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm Terry from My Terrific Life. This is part of my terrific life right here. This music is everything to me. And I hope to see you guys Monday. Let me turn it down a little bit. Monday for our chat, our Mindset Monday. I take Sundays off because I have to regroup and I need time for me and God. Although we have time together every day, but specifically for Him on Sundays, right? And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you so much. Have a good weekend, y'all. Have a good rest of your Saturday.